All right, guys, hello. Like I said, I was going to be more consistent this year, so I'm back. This video is going to be about routine because nothing has become more apparent to me in the last week that my number one tool to reach success in my life is discipline and routine. Now, 2023, I really let shit get to me. I let the hardship of moving to Germany, I let, all the fun and games and all the enticing experiences of Berlin get to me, and it bled into my routine in my personal life. Now, I learned a lot of lessons in my past life when I was younger, back home when I was training, that routine is so important, and I let that slip. And it really hurt me. It really, really hurt me. I through demotions at work, nearly lost my job because I wasn't performing. At the gym, I wasn't performing. I was injured. I nearly quit, nearly gave up on my desire to be an athlete. Personal relationships were suffering. Everything was suffering because I wasn't focused on the one important thing that I had already known is just discipline and routine builds consistency. Now, that's not to say that, last year I didn't learn lots of things and I didn't need that. I definitely needed that. But I gave myself a reality check coming into this new year that this is the new focus. I'm refocused, I'm re-energized, and finding joy in the consistency and the boring is so beautiful. Now, unfortunately, my default personality, I think, is that I'm a fucking loser. It hurts me to say that, it truly does, but I think deep down that, my biggest insecurity and fear in life is that I'm going to fulfill my prophecy of being a loser. Because when I'm not on my shit, I can slip so quickly, and I love those bad habits. I love them. I love eating bad. I love sleeping in. I love watching Netflix. I love watching YouTube. I love going on Instagram. I love partying. Contrary to what everyone thinks, because I haven't been drinking for so long and, I was avoiding going out for so many years. I was avoiding it because I love it and it kills me. I hate myself. See, it's a really unfortunate paradigm or dichotomy that exists within me. I am probably a loser at heart, and I love these things, but when I am that person, I hate myself, and I know the potential that I have. So maybe that's wrong. Maybe there's all a part that we all have a part of us like this. But for me personally, it's a constant battle to fight this person and not fall into that trap of being that person. And in a way, I am an addict. I'm an addict to feeling good, and at times I have been an addict to drugs, straight up. I mean, I guess it was technically just weed, so take it how you want to, but I was smoking weed every day for years. I was an addict, right? And there is a cure to addiction. There is a cure to wanting to feel good every single day, but that cure resets every time you go to sleep. The cure is waking up every day with an intention not to be that person or not falling back into that habit, because it's so important to be present and focused on what you want, but also what could happen if you're not. So why is routine so good for me? Well, routine allows me to remove thousands of unnecessary decisions that I don't have to make, right? I am an anxious person at heart. And I don't mean that when you typically think of like a neurotic, scared to go into social situations, etc. I'm not anxious in that regard. I am anxious in the fact that my anxiety causes my brain to run a million miles an hour all the time. I'm always thinking about things, about future pacing myself into what's going to happen in this situation. I love that about myself. I think that having anxiety in that respect, because in a social situation, that I can do. Talking to people, meeting people, I don't love it. I'm more of introverted, but if I have to do it, that's fine. Talking to a camera like this, putting myself out on YouTube, whatever. That I don't care about. But running through the possible negatives of every future situation is where my anxiety gets the worst. And it always, happens whether it's going to sleep or if there's too many decisions to be made, then I will shrink back and just default to that mode of, fuck it, I'm a loser. So routine is so good for me because it allows me to remove all those decisions and I don't have to think. I do not have to think. People look at my calendar and they go, you're a crazy person. No, I do this to avoid being a crazy person, right? If that, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I'm setting out so many reminders and to-do lists and tasks because it's there. It's in front of me. It's simple. Just follow that and you will be calm. I am at so much peace at the moment. Waking up in the morning with just pure bliss and peace. And I'll get into that in a second. So on top of that, routine in a sense, like I tend to have somewhat of depressive, like that sort of depressive personality trait where I am quite a sad person. Like inside of me, the main thing often is pain and sadness. Look, I just think it's who I am. I just think it's the way I am made up, or what, maybe it's some past experiences, but like in general, I'm sort of quite sad. Or at least I was quite sad, the last 3 months, because I was defaulting to that loser, and that loser is really sad. That loser chases those good feelings and smokes weed and eats bad and whatever because he is sad, right? So when I'm doing that, it adds to my sadness, and that's a vicious cycle. So routine allows me to step away from those things, and it really nullifies the depressiveness of my general demeanor, right? And just, in general, I'm super bubbly, kind, like quite sociable individual. But on the inside, it's a completely different story. And that really is only what matters if you want to achieve something in your life. Now, that is why I do this. All of those reasons, and if you can relate to any of them, well, this is probably going to work for you as well. But this is why I do those things. So what is the routine that is actually helping me and has helped me in my past? Well, it's basically the routine I was using when I was at my peak athletic performance, right? When I was really training hard and competing competitively. Like, this is what I would do to stay on top of everything. Now, I might do a day in a life. I might try and get into that sort of stuff to make it more visual and maybe a bit more fun for you guys, but I'll just lay it out super clearly and maybe why I do certain things. Get up at 7 a.m. every day. I'm not a 5 a.m. guy, right? That's not... Okay, if you are, I have been when I used to row. I've done that. I've been there when I used to open the general store with a cafe with my dad. I'm not a 5 a.m. guy. I mean, maybe I will be in the future, but right now I get up at 7 a.m. every single day, Monday through Sunday. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Get up at the same time every day because that allows good sleep patterns, and that is so important for falling asleep, which I'll get into in a second. Get up at the same time every day. Use the bathroom, whatever. Do my face, skincare, shower. That is the same every day. The first 2 hours basically of my day are the same every day regardless. Come out of the bathroom and I come and sit in my living room with some dim lights or a candle and I journal. I start with gratitude, something I was grateful for the day before. Immediately puts you in a nice headspace for the rest of the day. Then I go into my creative time. So I'm writing scripts for this, having a conversation with myself in my journal allows me to feel creative. So, I'm writing out this script or the idea for this video, writing blog posts that I may start posting again. I feel like I might just do it on the YouTube form. So I'm just like having some time to be creative with myself. And the last week and a half, it's so nice. It's to just sit with yourself, no music, maybe some quiet classical music if I have to, but just sit with myself and allow myself just to get some thoughts onto paper and just be with myself because that's super important. From there, next 30 minutes. So it's about 8:30 at this point. Chuck in my headphones, listen to a sales call, one of my best closers. Now, to be very clear, I haven't touched my phone yet. My phone is still in the bathroom on sleep mode. I haven't touched it. Listen to a sales call that closes on the first call. It's an easy close. Get my mindset in the space of, people want to come on board. This is something that people want to do. Puts me in the position to close straight away from the beginning. I don't have to get into the rhythm of the closes or the sales because I'm listening to it straight away. From here, I quickly grab my phone, 5 minutes for my call, just check any emails, anything like that. Maybe call my mum, right? Boom, 9 a.m., first call starts. 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. I'm taking calls. That is my one focus, right? I'll do a video about that and what I've changed and improved about my sales process because I have closed more deals in the last week than I did in 2 months last year. The energy that I have gained back from consistent sleeping, less decisions, being singular focus, has been astronomical. And it has allowed me to portray an energy on the sales calls. I'm asking someone to make a decision to change their life. How could I be asking that person to make that decision when my life was in such shambles? So just that transference of energy has already made a massive difference. Now, I finish my work day, okay, at 6 p.m. First thing I do, before wrapping up my day, go to the gym, right? I just get out of my space because that's a long day in front of the desk, right? I go to the gym, and this is so important because the gym allows me a space to release my anxieties, release my stress. 4 days a week after work, I go into the gym. On top of that, the gym affords me a space where I can be with like-minded individuals achieving a common goal, but I can also talk shit. You know, me and my friends at the gym, we just talk garbage because you can't do this stuff alone. If I wasn't going to the gym, I would sit in my house all day, every day, and I would go backwards. I go to the gym, I talk shit, you know, tell some jokes, be stupid, just let my mind relax. The people at the gym think I'm actually a spaz. Maybe I am. But they don't know this side of me because that is my safe space to be achieving something important and training really, really hard, but having fun while doing it because that's really what matters. So having a good environment at the gym, I'm so fortunate that the sport that I do, weightlifting, it invites private gyms, and private gyms invite conversation and relationship. So that's super important to me. You know, when I moved to Berlin, I chose the gym before I chose an apartment, and I figured out where I was going to live after I chose the right gym. That's how important it is to me. Now, you know, this also allows me to sort of avoid pubs, avoid dates, avoid the movies. Like, not to say that that stuff isn't important. I will at some point have to integrate a little bit of that back in my life every now and then. But right now I'm really focused on the next 90 days, okay? You know, I've got 3 months left in Berlin. I'm really focused on the next 90 days. But I'm still getting social interaction without, you know, harming my overall goal and overall routine. It's really, really important to add to this that, you know, my gym, my training, my running was falling by the wayside a little bit last year, and that's why my sales calls weren't great. How you do one thing is how you do everything. I have started this year with so much new focus in the gym. I've realized, you know, I've set some really big goals for myself. I'm not sure I want to share them right now because I came up with some pretty crazy ones, and I'm not sure if it's even, I'm going to leave that for now, but the training aspect is giving me more motivation, giving me more energy to then put more back into it, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. Now, okay, finish the gym. I come home, straight away I jump in the shower, right? I just get clean, get into some comfy clothes, because now it is my wind down time. It's so important to have wind down time. Cook dinner. I'm back on counting my macros. Every day I eat the same thing and everything is tracked. Again, removes a decision. When I go to the shops, I make 10 decisions, not 1,000. 10 foods I need to buy every single time, in, out, done. When I cook, everything's pre-chopped, pre-ready to go. No decisions need to be made. I have a process, I follow it, it's simple. I sit and I eat my dinner and I start watching YouTube. Perfect. I'm winding down. It's about 8:30 at this point. After that, I wrap up my day, daily sales report, follow up with a couple of final emails, and then I just get my day ready for the next day. Super important, removes an extra 5 minutes in the morning, but it really allows me to feel ready for the next day. It's like 5 minutes. Done that, put that away, super important. Everything's on Do Not Disturb. I'm not touching that. It's about 9 o'clock now, okay? Movies, YouTube, I'm chilling. I'm relaxing because I want to stay on this routine for 365 days. You know, this isn't monk mode. Monk mode might be, you know, I'm reading for an hour now, right? Which is totally fine, but I've sort of done that. I am still reading at this point, but I'm also in this sort of like, I want consistency and the ability to sustain this long term, right? So I'm relaxing. I'm on the couch, I'm watching YouTube, I'm eating some nuts, I'm winding down. 10 o'clock hits, boom, screens are done. I'm in the bathroom, washing my face, doing my skincare. Again, if you don't have a skincare routine, it's a really helpful way just to wind down. With a candle. Get rid of the bright lights. Candles are the only lights that don't stimulate your eye. Okay, so I've got candles going everywhere, washing my face, I'm in bed by 10:30 or even 10:20. 30 minutes before I'm trying to go to sleep, no screens and no really bright lights. Read for 10 minutes. Marcus Aurelius meditations, whatever it is. Nothing too intense. I've got some other time. I'm going to try and build in some other time. I'm really big on audiobooks at the moment, but I like to read a little bit before bed. 1 or 2 pages, that's all you need. Just read a few meditations. I've even considered like religious texts or just something where you can just read a few passages before you go to bed. Boom, bed by 10:30, 10:45. I've got my Aura ring at the moment, so I'm really getting to sleep at like 10:45. My sleep is perfect. I'm getting 1.5 to 2 hours of deep sleep. The biggest thing for me, this whole routine is set up so that I can get to sleep quickly. I struggle to sleep so much when I don't have consistent sleep patterns. That is why I like smoking weed so much, because it quiets my brain and lets me go to sleep. So that is so important. Basically, this whole thing is set up so I can get 7.5, 8 hours of sleep, because that is the number one cheat code to success. Getting good sleep is the easiest thing that you can do to get more out of your life. Now, I've just said a lot of words, okay? I've just told you what I do. How does this apply to you? I know that I can't really, I'm sort of worried that I can't provide that much value to anyone at the moment because, I'm still in my early stages of my sales journey. Obviously I could share some things, but maybe we'll get into that later. What I can share is this stuff. What I do and what I've done to that makes this possible. So these are my actionable steps. If you're struggling or if you want more and you feel like the monk mode stuff, it's all a bit too much, the 75 hard is too much to dive into, and you're really at that really bottom point, you just need 1 or 2 things to get you on track, this is what you should do. This is what I would recommend. Get yourself a calendar, get yourself a red pen. I must add, the last step of my day is crossing out the day in a big red pen on the calendar. Get yourself a calendar, get yourself a red pen so you can cross out the days. For the next 90 days, all you have to do is go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time, and go to the gym or do some type of physical activity every day. If you can do that for 90 days, I promise you, you are on the way to completely changing your life. Now, why is the calendar so important? Well, because you start these things with all the motivation, and motivation is unsustainable. When motivation disappears, well then discipline must take over. And without some type of physical thing from where you are right now, you don't have that discipline. Discipline is a muscle. It must be built over time. If you do the things right, in the way I've set it up, so if you go to the gym and if you go to bed and get up at the same time, when you wake up or before you go to bed, cross off that day. Cross off the previous day or cross off the day you just did. You do it again the next day, you cross off that day. Big red X so you can see it, so they join up. Cover up those numbers. As you're progressing, the chain of action is going to start to build, and it's going to be in front of you. So if you miss a day, okay, you can see, or if you want to miss a day, you can look at that chain and go, you know what, I'm going to push a little bit harder to keep that chain. Because consistency builds future habits, right? Now, from here, if you miss 1 day, that's fine. Just never miss 2. Because as soon as you miss 2 days, you are building the chain in the wrong direction. If you miss a Sunday or if you miss a Wednesday, you go to bed a little bit late, whatever, you better get back on it on Thursday. Because as soon as you build the chain in the opposite direction, I promise you, you will fall apart. If you can't even hold a consistent nighttime and sleep and wake up time and just can't move your body for an hour a day, for 90 days, well, you're nowhere near making $10,000 per month. If you want to start an agency before you can do this for 90 days, unfortunately, I got fucking news for you. It's not going to happen. So that is how I would recommend getting started with all of this. I wouldn't recommend my path. Way too painful, way too hard. This is the easiest way to get your foot in the door, and that's all you need. So, look, I hope that was useful. I am aware that maybe I'm not providing as much value as all these other YouTubers, but I'm just going to tell you my story and be as honest as possible. This is how I'm going to make $25,000 per month. But I'm a fucking loser. I don't deserve to make $25,000 per month because I've done bad things in my life. Actually, I was a bad guy. I was a bad guy. And I think I'm really scared that I am a bad guy. Not in the sense that I'm a bad, mean. Well, that's a whole nother story. But I'm really scared that I'm a bad guy. So I want to be as honest and transparent with you so that I can at least prove to myself that I'm not. And I'm going to work every single day the rest of my life. Shit, I'm going to fall off. 100% I'm going to fall off again. But these videos are going to be a good thing to me to hold myself accountable to that as well. If I post one of these every week, I'm doing this as much for myself as I am for you. Again, I'm being transparent. Like, I'm doing this to hold myself accountable because I'm a loser. I think I might be a loser. And I want to just like, it's so easy. It's so easy to be a loser. It's so easy to smoke weed. It's so easy to eat chocolate. It's so easy to watch Netflix. And that's why everything's fucked. Because being like that is easy. And if you want more out of your life, which I have finally come to myself and said, I want more out of this life, well, it has to be hard, and that is good. You want it to be hard, because if you get there with it being easy, well, then you'll be guilty and it will never be happy with your success. So I'm so glad that I have this difficult road ahead of me and I've had this difficult path behind me, because when I get to where I want to be and when you guys watch that journey with me, we are going to be so proud of myself and each other in the long run. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you next week. Please. Oh, we can do it.